Good evening, and welcome to another Defenders Fitness Alliance Facebook Live. Before we get started, I want to again invite you guys to check out our Facebook group at Defenders Fitness Alliance, where we have active duty and veterans in the fitness community coming together and supporting one another in their fitness business. So with that being said, we have a very special guest today. My guest is Navy veteran and nutrition and strength coach, Bobby Powers.
Hey, thanks.
Thanks for coming on, Bobby.
Of course.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and your service and what you're up to nowadays.
All right. Well, like we were just talking about a little while ago, I grew up in North Carolina. I joined the Navy. I initially wanted to join when I was 17. They had a contract. I was supposed to go to Buds. I went to MEPS and they said, you have a heart murmur and you can't go to Buds. So like a 17-year-old, I threw a fit and I was like, well, I don't want to do this anymore. Finally, I got my head right when I was 20. I enlisted. Let's see. So from there, Corps School, back when it was still in Great Lakes. And so that was in 2008. Then Field Med, I got stationed with 2nd CEV at Camp Lejeune. I did 2 deployments with them there. I got into like a lot of sports while I was there. So between aesthetic development, powerlifting, CrossFit, ran an ultra marathon. I just bounced around. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. When I got out, again, I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life anymore. Like, I feel like a lot of people get out like that, unfortunately. I just knew I had to go to school. Moved to Kentucky to go to UK, initially to go to med school. And I started working as a personal trainer, realized I didn't know anything about nutrition, and did change my thing up, started going for dietetics. And I mean, that's just what I do now. School full time, I work, and then I have just a few clients online that I work with. I want to do more, but unfortunately, I just don't have the time right now to take on a lot more. Plate's kind of full, unfortunately.
So how long have you been going to school, and are you going for your master's or
No,
bachelor's?
this will finish up my bachelor's.
Okay.
So let's see. So that was, I think I started the spring of 2015. It was my first semester.
Okay. And then, let's go back to your service. So, I'm of course, a fellow corpsman here.
Of course.
So awesome to have another Devil Doc. So you went to Field Med after Corps School.
Yeah.
For those of you guys don't know, Corpsman School is where did you go? Was it still at Great Lakes? You said?
Yeah, it was at Great Lakes.
Okay. So we have Corpsman School for some Army guys out there. It's like a medic but better. So we do a lot of we're like we do a lot of the jobs, right? We are like what do you call it? Jack of all trade.
Oh yeah.
MOS or NEC. So you went to Field Med in Pendleton.
No, over at Camp
Oh,
Johnson.
oh, in Johnson. Okay.
Yeah, all East
But then
Coast.
you got stationed in the West
Camp
Coast.
Lejeune. No, East Coast.
Oh, East Coast.
Yeah.
Okay. I got it all mixed up here. How was that for you going through school there and being
I mean, it was easy if we're being honest. Like Field Med wasn't hard. Field Med was like you just do what you're told, and it's so
yeah.
like, that's the biggest part of everything. I think is you just like follow the guidelines that are laid out for you, and you're going to be successful. Let's see. I think like the worst part about Field Med was anything that had to do with running because I hated it then like so much. That and where I don't have like I don't have like a big powerful voice, so whenever I would have to do cadence, no one could hear me. It was terrible.
So you how many deployments did you do, and how many enlistments did you do?
So I did two deployments. So I got there to CB May of 2009, and I got thrown in with Mobility Assault Company from there. I deployed that October. I was there, so 2009, 2010. I was there for Marja during my first one. I get back. My chief at the time said that Chief Bobick, great guy. He said that deployment was it was a rough one. I want you to go H&S on your next one. And I was like, I don't want to do that. Like that's I had fun on my first one. I don't want to go. I can't go H&S. So the next one comes around. He's not there. We had to cut numbers, and they were like, "Do you want to go?" And I was like, "No." So they let me out of that one. I extended because another one was coming up, and luckily I got senior line for the company I went with on the first one. And luckily, unlike a lot of places where senior lines don't really do a lot, we didn't really have the numbers. So you were senior line and a platoon corpsman, which it was exactly what I wanted. So I went back for that one, 2012, 2013, and then I got out in 2014.
Okay. And then for those watching who might not know, I know we're throwing a lot of terms out there. Can you just explain to them what senior line?
So senior line, basically, you get, not only do you have a platoon, which so you have your 30 Marines. You also are in charge of the headquarters for that company, and you're also in charge of the other corpsmen for that company. So it's a lot more work, a lot of training, a lot of going over their work to ensure that everything's right. Which I was lucky. I had two corpsmen under me that were amazing, so I didn't have to do anything for them. Like they were spot on. Um, so outside
And
of that's about it. I guess it's a lot more work, but it's a lot more self gratification as well.
okay. And then just to go back, what you were saying earlier, your first deployment was you were in the Battle of Marja,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, um,
And then
yeah. Okay, so my platoon, I don't know how we got singled out, and I'm so glad that we did. We actually got put with a operational detachment for, I guess, which again, that's like it was an Army unit, so it was Army Green Berets, Army Delta Medics. We had some Anglico there, and there were some like some counter ops guys as well that were some real, like they knew how to mess with people, and it was pretty funny sometimes. Um,
um, yeah, for just to explain, for those of you guys don't know what the Battle of Marja was, just there's a documentary on it. It's
yeah,
one of the biggest battles in Afghanistan, and like what Bobby was saying is a lot of shit went down there. um,
so I was lucky enough to be in, day one, and I stayed there for. I think we were there for like 2 or 3 months. We ended up again because I was with them. We took over some drug lord's house, so we had this 2-story house all to ourselves, compound. It was great. We just operated out of that.
Man, yeah, it seems like you telling your story kind of reminds me of mine. During my first deployment. My first deployment, the um, I was with 17. I was with the infantry,
Oh, nice.
and so my first deployment, we did suffer some casualties, but most of the time we were like you guys were doing. We were kicking doors, and
Hmm.
different
Yeah,
country.
different doors. Yeah,
Yeah, I
but
was in
yeah.
Iraq. You were in Afghanistan, but and then come you go home, and for those of you guys might not be familiar, but you go home, that you're gonna go back um anytime soon. Like you're just going home to train, just to go back to the
Yep.
sandbox. And that was my whole mentality after my first deployment. I'm gonna have fun, I'm gonna do my thing, and then just go back and try to take care of the
Hmm.
rest, right? And I got told that hey, you're staying behind. You're gonna be RBE, which is a remain behind element.
Hmm.
Um, which I was like, What the fuck? No, I'm not.
No one wants to hear that.
Yeah, no one wants to hear that, and I didn't want it. I didn't want to be one of those guys. I mean, nothing against them, but I didn't want to stay there and leave my unit behind, or leave them,
Yeah.
or have them go without me. So luckily, one of the guys, he had some marital issues, domestic
Oof. Yeah.
violence issues. So yeah, man. Same with you. I got to I was like just rogered up and left and went with them and got to go with them. So, but I don't know how it was for you, Bobby. But I mean, how was your time with the Marine Corps? I know you being Navy,
Yeah.
like they don't, you know.
Yeah. So, everything is Navy regs, everything. So you grow your hair out because you can, because
Yeah.
no one knows any better. So no one knows if that's right or wrong. But I mean, so my uncle was a Marine, and he's talked me out of joining the Marine Corps and to go to the Navy to be a corpsman. And
Because he knew how good it
the
was.
way he explained it, he said, and I don't want to say that this how it is exactly, but he said, "You're a god." He said, "You can do whatever you want, do your thing. People are going to love you." And I was like, "Well." So when I get here, it's true though. It's from day one. I was treated great from day one, up until the end. So, and I stayed with the same battalion my whole enlistment. So
Awesome,
I
man.
didn't really. They wanted me to go to a Navy command, and that was kind of the end of it for me. I was like, I don't want to do that.
And
I'll take my
that's the thing.
chances.
That's the thing, right? I'm sure it's the same with medics. As long as you take care of your guys, they'll take care of you.
Oh
They'll
yeah.
get your back. So we got Eli watching here. Eli, I'm just gonna post this up. Eli, Man Love Thursdays. Uh,
I mean, just like keep your boots on and stuff. It's all
hey,
good.
it's deployment, right? Anything happens, anything goes. Thanks, Eli, for the comment. All right, so just moving on. Next question here. So you joined the Navy. You did deployment with the Marine Corps as a corpsman. What would you say was your biggest takeaway from your time in service?
The biggest takeaway is that there's really nothing that you can't do. Like you're capable of so much more than like what you think you are. I mean, there were times where like things just sucked. Like it was just, and all you were like, well, I'm just gonna quit. And if you just keep going, it's like you, your body's capable of so much more than you think. I think that was my biggest takeaway when I got out.
And it's something I don't know how it was for you, but whereas before you didn't think you could push yourself
Yeah,
to
that's a
that
big one.
extreme or
Yeah,
that height, right? Because um, e- especially when you're deployed, there's so many things that you're asked to do that it's like you just think that I can't do this, or no, we can't. But you're thinking that in your head, but you got to do it
yeah,
because that's the mission and that's what you're tasked to do. So hey,
yeah. Your LT will pull it out, and he's like, we're going here, 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 and here today, and you're like, I can't walk that. Like
yeah,
that's ridiculous, dude.
4 or 5 hour foot patrol, I
Yeah.
can't do it. And we did it.
And then, well, where we were out clearance as well, it's for you get out there for hours, but you got one guy just with a metal detector sweeping in front, so it's
Yeah,
slow too, which was terrible for me.
hats off to those combat engineers,
Yeah,
man. Awesome
I
job.
yeah, I learned it on my second one. My first one I was so caught up in just medical. So on the second one I was a lot more relaxed, and I was like, teach me the guns, teach me how to man the crew serves. Let me learn how to sweep. Um, my theory was that if someone got blown up, I could just grab a metal detector and go myself. I wouldn't have to wait for someone to come get me and take me to it. So you know, that was big for me on my second one. I think was learning how to do everything.
Like I said, jack of all trades, man.
Mm-hmm.
You got to know every job because you're also expected to be one of the guys, one of the Marines, and you know,
Yeah, you got to pull
along
the
with
trigger.
carrying your
You got to
med
pull the
bag. Yep,
trigger when thing comes.
yep. So my next question here is, what's your biggest advice or to those that are still serving right now?
Decide if you want to stay in and act accordingly. You have a lot of people who they don't know, and then they just act like big piles of turd, unfortunately. And then when it comes to reenlistment time, no one wants them. So if you want to stay in, make it a lifestyle. If you want to get out though, like there's so many opportunities out here. Like it's not just it's not what you see on TV where the VA is going to kill you and everyone's going to spit on you or something. It's not that I don't go anywhere, expecting to be thanked for my service by any means because it's a voluntary service. But I mean, people love you out here because they know you're going to work hard,
Mm-hmm.
and you're given opportunities. Like so for this coming up internship that I'm going to apply for dietetics, it's with the VA hospital. So if everything goes right and I keep this 4.0 that I think I will, I mean, I should have a great chance at this internship just because of my service.
Well, great on you, brother. And I mean, that's an excellent point too. And I see it now with me still being in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a lot of the guys, especially the younger guys, they have that mentality of like, F this, F that, I'm not doing
Yeah,
this. But I mean, you never know when that time comes. Like they all say that, I'm getting out. And
but
then
it's a
like
I
90% of the time they end up staying in because unfortunately they have to because they weren't prepared
yeah
for, that next, the next step in their journey in their
that
life,
I
right?
mean that happened to me on my second deployment where I was literally like whenever we would get a chance to go back to Leatherneck, I would I would be like talking to people back home like where am I going to live when I get out? Like what am I going to do?
Yeah.
Like I didn't have a plan. Luckily things worked out. So,
Awesome, man. So let's talk about your transition out of the
mhm.
Navy. How was that experience, and what led you to what you're doing now?
Um, so I got out. I had a month gap before we signed the lease here in Kentucky. So I went back. I went home. Like I said, I was like 30 minutes away, and I was talking to my mom, and she was like, "What are you gonna do now?" And I was like, "I don't know." She goes, "Well, what do you like?" And I was like, "Well, I like to work out. That's about it." Um, and she said, "Well, maybe that's something." So I mean, I got my personal trainer certification, which turns out to not be as important as people may think. Um, I think that people should do it. Find a reputable company to do it with, but I don't think anyone's ever asked me to see it, which is kind of
Yeah.
weird. Um, but yeah, so when I got out, I moved here. I started working at a gym. Um, I'd say I'd been here almost a year because I was really focused on school when I first moved here. I didn't want to do bad, and I just went from there. I realized how much fun it was, like to train people. So, like, I trained Marines while I was in.
Mhm.
I took one guy. He was 6'6", 180 pounds, maybe 185 on our first deployment, and I took him up to 220 pretty quickly, um, which isn't easy at his height. It was very, very difficult, and on the food that we had there. But that's just I got out, and it was just I didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to be in a gym, so personal training fit in. I didn't have the time for it. Like my grades were slipping a little bit because of it. Like organic chemistry, kind of, it took so much time that I wasn't able to take on more clients, and so transitioning to online like made sense because I had I wouldn't have to spend an hour with someone. I could just reply to an email.
Mhm.
So it made a lot of sense for me, and it's been working out very well so far.
Awesome, brother. Well, I mean, I guess your work speaks for itself, right? You were talking about earlier, some of your clients or people that might be interested in your programs, they weren't even asking for your certification or weren't even worried
Yeah,
about it. I mean,
yeah.
it's I guess the message there to the people listening right now is as long as you guys are providing the value and basically their need,
Hmm.
their pain points. I mean,
Yeah, I
who's
mean,
who's who's gonna care what what says on that paper, right?
I think
You're
if you look the part and you have a certain track record, or for me, it's because I'll still call myself very new to coaching. Um,
Mhm,
I think it's when you talk to people, if you know what you're talking about, that's the biggest thing right there. And
mhm.
people can pick up on it. People can pick up when you're bullshitting them, even if they don't know a lot about training. They can just tell by you whether you're actually telling the truth or not.
Hey, that's another great point. Don't bullshit a bullshitter.
Yeah.
So so how did your time you talked about you were training your Marines before
Hmm.
you got out. How did that help you with what you're doing as an online coach right now?
Um, I mean, it gave me exposure to it. Like, so I had experience training myself, but training other people is a big difference because you have to learn what works for them, what doesn't work for them, and that can be difficult in the beginning. But luckily, it's like just the military in general gave me so much confidence. So like after my first mass casualty, I like nothing's impossible anymore. Like
Right.
making it through that right there, it's everything's on the table now. Luckily,
So, I mean, leads us to the next question. That was probably one of your worst moment or the worst moment in your military career.
yeah, yeah.
Um, so how's what about let's talk about with your business. What's been I guess the worst moment you've had so far with your online training and
Um,
being as a coach?
well, I would say like when I first got started. So I've never been great at talking to strangers, like in general, but it's like then like because in the first gym I started at, you got your own clients. The gym
Mhm.
didn't provide them for you, and having to like walk up to a stranger and try to sell yourself, that is like my crimsonite right there. Like it was terrible. Like I would walk up and it would be the most awkward thing in the world. And in my head, I'm telling myself like, this is weird. They know this is weird. And I was just like, so I think I'm better at it now, but luckily a lot of my stuff now is like word of mouth. So,
Mhm.
um, makes it easier on me.
It just takes practice, man.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
just gotta keep on doing it and keep on doing it. And no matter how goofy or funny you sound, just push through.
Yep.
All right, brother. Next question. So maybe we have some listeners or viewers here that might want to do, be do what you're doing as a nutrition and strength coach. Maybe doing that online.
Hmm.
What's one advice that you can give them?
Read, like read a lot. Things are like always changing. Um, so and that it's important to just to stay on top of like what actually works. I guess another thing would be to like find a mentor.
Yeah.
I've been lucky enough to work with some great coaches that are within the area, and I would say I've learned more from them than I have in school.
Mentors. For those
Hmm.
of you guys listening, man, that's one of the keys. Find somebody that um, is where you want to. I guess I think I
Yep.
mentioned this last week, but find somebody that is where you want to be. And just ask questions and
Yes.
reach out to them. You never know what they can offer you. So
Yeah, I've been lucky enough to make friends with some really good coaches that have people on some pretty big stages. So I mean, that's invaluable for me.
and reach out to the group, man. There's
Yeah,
a lot of people and everybody's in the fitness community. So just go in there and post and comment and reach out to somebody that can help you out with that. Awesome, brother. All right. So next question: what's an internet resource that our listeners and viewers can use to assist them with their business?
Um, with their business.
Well, with
Uh,
let's say
oh,
your what you're doing.
okay, so I would say there's going to be a few. So they cost a little bit of money, but it's worth it. So John Meadows has a site, and it gives, he does like his weekly Q&As. He does, he writes a lot of articles, puts out a lot of content that's really good. Amazing coach, probably I would say one of the best coaches that there are. Outside of that, he goes by hypertrophy coach Joe Bennett, and then Matt Jansen's also another really good resource.
Who was
And
that first?
these are all bodybuilding coaches, by the way.
Okay,
So the first one is John Meadows, goes by
okay,
the Mountain Dog.
awesome. So hey guys, if you guys heard that, just make sure you guys check out those internet resource. And if you guys are watching this later on, just make sure you guys put hashtag replay and yeah, man, just comment, like, and share. Um, so Bobby, love the name by the way, Bobby Powers.
Yeah, it works.
It's like it's like a superhero, man, like
That's
powers.
that's what I'm going for, actually. So yeah.
Awesome. All right, brother. So we're coming up on the last portion of our interview here. This is called the 5 fitness facts of Bobby Powers. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's go for it.
All right, brother. So first question is, what's your favorite workout?
Workout or exercise?
Exercise, workout.
Exercise, incline barbell or dumbbell, whichever. I think if you want to add mass to your upper chest, like that's it.
The inclines, yeah.
Yep, and that's where I lack, so it's big for me right now.
What's your least favorite?
Anything with a machine. Um, they have their uses, but where I have, I'm only 5'6", so I have like a very small range of motion. It just doesn't work with my motor patterns.
No machines.
Yeah.
If you're a true bodybuilder, you don't really use machines, right?
Well, it's they have their place, but and I do use them, but it's not my favorite part of the workout by any means.
Okay. Next question. If you had to choose one person to train with, who would it be and why?
Even though I'm not powerlifting right now, I would have to choose Ed Cohen. Um, One, he's the greatest powerlifter of all time, without question. And two, he may secretly be like my dad somehow. So we've talked about that, and he does agree that we have a lot of similarities. So he's not really my dad. I know my
That was
dad. I wish. Love that guy.
All right, brother. Next question. Recommend a book for our viewers and listeners to read.
Let's see. For training, it's by Dr. Scott Stevenson, Fortitude Training. Even if you don't like follow the program, he has stuff in there that's beyond what I feel like anyone else knows. But nutrition, I'm actually reading these books by Dr. Jason Fung right now. It's called The Obesity Code and the Diabetes Code. And he's a nephrologist up in Toronto. And it's all about how you can use intermittent fasting to cure type 2 diabetes and obesity. So really good stuff.
Just out of curiosity, have you tried that intermittent fasting?
I do. Well, I don't now because I'm trying to put on a little more muscle right now. But absolutely, 16 hours you don't eat, 8 hours you do, and you could take that up to 22 hours you don't eat and 2 you do if you want to. I've done it. It's not bad. Like you don't get as many calories, and that's where a lot of it comes in. But a lot of the benefits come from the fast itself.
My problem is I can eat whatever and just like
Yeah, I am
and not
not.
gain weight at all.
My wife is like that, actually. She's
So
very, very blessed in that situation.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about no like intermittent fasting. All right, brother. So finally, where can our members, our viewers, where can they reach you at on social media?
So let's see. Really, this Facebook page right here, or my Instagram is rbpowers87. And then my email is rbpowers87@gmail.com. But I still need to start a business page. I still need to work with, I can't think of the name, but in Vetpreneur on finalizing like logos and stuff like that.
Sean Briggs.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Hey, he's
Yeah.
awesome. He did our logo.
Yeah. He has some passion for this stuff.
Yeah, bro.
I like it.
Yeah. And hit me up, man, if you have any questions about starting social
Yeah,
media
absolutely,
accounts and
man.
all that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
We'll
something
talk.
I don't know a lot about, so I definitely need help with it.
Yeah, we'll talk offline, man.
Awesome.
So my final question to you is how can I further help you in your business?
Well, I think we just talked about it. It's that the social media aspect to it. I mean, you clearly, I mean, I feel like you've gathered quite a following on this page really fast. It didn't take long at all.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you work with Anthony, right? Andrew.
Oh, Andrew, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Or
call him.
you guys seem to,
Yeah.
mesh. So I'm sure that's helped a lot. He seems to, shoo, he
Yeah,
goes.
he's for those of you guys that are listening, Andrew O'Brien, he's the leader of the Vetpreneur tribe.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as what you've done here, I mean, it took off. It's awesome.
I appreciate it, brother. Well, it's people like you that are on the group, keeping the engagement going and providing the value for those who come in there and ask questions and needing some support. So appreciate you, Bobby, and everybody that's in the group. And if you're not on there, hey, check it out. Come join and be part of the alliance. So with that being said, Bobby, I want to thank you once again for being part of this interview and for being my guest. And I'll see you soon, brother.
Thanks for having me. All right, man.
All right, take it easy.
All right, you too.